Right. To the Black Podcast. So usually we have a little bit more visually appealing face, given the beginning of the intro, but we're dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties. She will be joining us shortly, but we're back again. As you guys know, we've been going strong at this for going on 2.5 years now. We actually started August the 5th, if I'm not mistaken. August the 5th of 2020, middle of COVID. So what we want to do is just welcome everybody to come, like, just zone in and listen to some of the goods that we're about to share, but also go ahead and you share out the content, share out this video, whatever platform you're listening to this, you're watching this on. Go ahead and share it out so the message that is given today can be spread out to the masses. The topic at hand is really going to be something that we, specifically in the Black community, really to laser in on and focus in and figure out how we can take full advantage of the space. For those who've been following me for a little bit here, I've really made a shift into the financial literacy space because being working in the social work space and psychology space for so long, you see so many issues that can be reconciled if people proper financial education, if they knew how to properly earn, how to properly save, and then how to properly grow their money. So we're gonna have a not only in the financial space, but investing in yourself. So many people hear about investing and they automatically go to money, but there's so many things that you can do to really focus on yourself, and we're going to hear some about that today. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the mic over to the more visually appealing face of the duo.
Hello.
So Dr.
Hello.
Hobson, how you doing today? You ready to
I'm
get these
doing
goods?
good. I'm sitting low because I don't know what's going on with the other camera, but we always look, no matter what. I don't care if I have to use the whatever phone. I'm not gonna miss this show. So thank you, Ryan, for opening up. And I'm just excited about our guests always. Especially those that work in the education space and financial space, and just I just feel like whenever you can just combine your gifts and talents and it just works for you and you can.
Well, did you freeze on us? All right, I think she's got a little bit rocky connection. It looks like there, but we're not gonna waste too much time. Guys, get some notes. Like, get a pen and get a pad because this information, I I like to be surprised. Dr. Hobson knows, like, she'll find a guest. I'll help throw together a title or something, throw together a graphic, but I don't dig too much because I want to be authentically enthralled with the conversation here on the podcast. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and welcome our guest to the show, Mr. Shaughn Thomas. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Man, we are blessed. We are blessed. So, Dr. Hobson, take us away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for accepting the invite to be on the Black Podcast. We know that behind every glory is a story, and so we like to always start off in the beginning, knowing more about who you are, where you're from, and give us a little bit of a background of the dynamics of your families. Like, how did that look for you?
All right, so uh, first name Shaughn Thomas. So when people say, so I was born and I learned, visit my family in New Jersey, that area. And then when I was home, got married, and I moved to California, coast to the other. So from 10 to 18, I was out in California, and so I remarried. But close relationship, so we always stay close, even but my mom pretty much, man, it's really hard, to tell because she made sure that I was the only child till about 14. When I was 18,
Mr. Thomas, you're kind of chopping up a little bit. I don't know if your maybe your signal's a little bit low.
chopping up for you too. service. Now,
Try to log off and log back in, and let's see if that helps.
Yeah, the audio is a little glitchy.
Yeah. Sometimes it was sound like it was just trying to catch up or something, buffing a little bit. But
Yeah,
I
work
always
that
like to
through.
start off with our community, how, we just get to that instant result. We want to see, we don't want to hear about people's stories enough because we don't really want to know the journey or the struggle they had to go through, because we know we're not willing to go through that. We just want what you got right now. And so a lot of times we leave bits and pieces out of our story, especially Black people that may work in corporate America, where they don't want people to know, oh my God, you grew up like that. So they take a lot of their story out, and we mask a lot of our background because of sometimes other people are going to say, or how it may come across, or we just want to forget about it because maybe it was traumatic, so it's like we just want to act like it never happened. But those are the stories that we need to hear more of. We need to see stories of hope, and we need to see stories of struggle, and that's how we grow and become better um, servants for our community. So I love hearing the stories of people's background and how they made it and what they had to go through, or if maybe they didn't have to go through anything, but just hearing you know their journey is amazing.
I swear, all three of us having
Right? Can
technical
you hear me?
issues.
oh, there we go.
All right. Yeah, I'm having some delay on my end. All right. I think we should be
Yeah, I
good.
can't hear um, Mr. Thomas.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
All right, so we are
I think it's still kind of going out. I'm not sure what that's from.
because I have full service.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're better now.
I might we good now?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's carry on.
All
All right.
right, so start from the beginning. All right,
So
so
restate
the
the
technical
question.
difficulties.
Dr. Hobson.
But
I said restate the question just to get the flow back right.
So we want to go back. We had a couple of technical difficulties here, but we know that behind every glory is a story, and so we like to talk about the background, or the background of our guests, because we don't share those stories enough in our community. And so if you can just kind of start from the beginning of where you're from and the dynamics of your family, so that we can get a better understanding on your journey.
all right, uh, cool. And thank you for having me. So over. So I was born until I was 10, and from my dad's side was from New Jersey, you know, Alabama and Michigan. I was 10. My mom got remarried, and we moved to California. So I was in California. So I went for one, and so he had a strong relationship with my father. I still do friends. Me and my mom, she pretty and I was the only child. I was 14. My mom had my sister. Um, I had a great mom. She worked extremely hard. I tell that we struggled because she made sure. So she had worked 3 or 4 sure that I had everything I needed. So I went in isolation, kind of just being by my skin and just planning and doing whatnot. And Xavier, Louisiana, and New Orleans. I was go to college. My mom told me I was either going to was in her house, was going to have to leave her house to um, a college. And so from there, I went there, and you could.
It's glitching. It's glitching like it was earlier. I don't know what the issue is, man. The devil just don't want us to win today.
Want me to try from my phone? Like,
yeah, try from the phone, and if it doesn't work from the phone, we'll just shut down the whole system and reboot. But let's try from the phone.
Let me try.
And
What
I'm
happened? It was still
hearing,
glitching.
yeah, and I'm hearing like bits and pieces that sound real good. Like, dang it, boy,
Yeah,
technology.
So I'm trying to go in from my phone.
it's okay. We're gonna make it happen.
All right. All right, talk to me.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So, don't sound glitchy.
Nah, you sound straight now. We'll just we will. I'll change the format. There we go. So as soon as Dr. Hodgson jumps back in, we'll go ahead and flow. But yeah, man, my cousin. I remember I was in high school, I believe, and I had to go over to Xavier to help my cousin move. She was graduating. She was moving out of Xavier. So that's where you started.
What year? What year?
Ooh, this had to be like late '90s, maybe.
Oh, okay. I came
Yeah, it was a hot
in.
minute. It was a
So
hot minute ago. But what year were you there? What years were you there?
04 to 09.
Okay,
Katrina, then after Katrina. So
got you. So did you go straight out of high school? Like, when you graduated high school?
went straight there. All my friends stayed in California, but I was like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not go down south somewhere. And
Yeah,
so I visited. I was either between Clark, Bethune, and I visited Xavier, and I said, "Oh, this is it right here." So I was out like myself. Like I didn't need no go with nobody. Like I was kind of like alone to just do my thing.
yeah.
So,
I feel you. I actually finished high school in '04, and
okay.
I came straight to University of Southern Miss. Um,
Okay.
I had the grades. My test, my ACT was garbage, like garbage. I made an 18 the first go around, and I said I gotta take this again. I gotta do better. I made a 16 the second time. So, but my GPA was almost a 4.0, so I knew I could get in on that. I had crazy amounts of
Right.
scholarships, but yeah, that's what's my start with the whole collegiate experience. So while we get Dr. Hobson to jump back in, I'm going to just now she asking me that I log on. Let me make sure I'm seeing her. No, I didn't log off. You are on the screen, but your screen is black. So guys, whoever is watching right now, y'all bear with us. Like we over here trying to make it do what it do. Let's see. We are both on and live. Let's see. I'm one to sing that Elliott song. Technology. Technology. Man, it is not on our side. I don't see anything. Yeah, Dr. Hobson, I don't know why you don't see anything. We see your screen as well. You disappeared. All right, let's try again. Nope. Dr. Hobson, you are still black screen. I guess she's trying to get back onto her computer instead of coming in
Okay.
through the phone. Anyways, man, while we wait for her, um, so just let's rewind back through one more time. I know you're like, man, third time telling the story. So give us, Dr. Hobson, you still black screen. I don't know. Yeah, you have to do your phone. So coming up, give us just give us one more re go. And this
All right.
time we should be good because your audio is gone.
All right. Cool. All right. So and I appreciate you having me. So when people ask where I'm from, I always say just so I was born in upstate New York, Rochester, and my family, and so I will always go back and forth from New York to New Jersey, and then my mom got married and we moved to California, and so me and my dad have always had a close relationship. Didn't change at all. Me and my mom, of course, is close. So I talk to them both every single day. When I was 10, I moved to California, so that was a big culture shock going from New York to Cali, just the whole. And then also um, after kindergarten, my mom put me in from like kindergarten, first grade to like ninth grade when I begged to get out. I have three black kids like the whole time, so that was a big big difference growing up. And so when I was in 10th grade, I was like, Mom, I gotta be around some color. Like this is not working for me. And so she finally let me do it. We went to the local high school, and for sports and everything like that. And so and my mom, she basically did it on her own. She was married for a couple of years, and she had my sister when she was when I was 14. And so my mom, strong, single, had jobs, but she made sure that I had everything I needed because she would go without to make sure that I had it. And so so for that case, I never really for anything, but I did have a lot of time in isolation because she was always at work. So be within myself. So I'm always cool with just being by myself. When I was 18, you going to college, like you have no option. Like you turn 18, the moment you turn 18. So I didn't have the best grades in high school. I didn't like school at all. Like I didn't see the value in it whatsoever. When she talking about colleges, I was like, let me apply to HBCUs. I'm not sure where a matter of fact, I did. It was a person who was on our track team, and she said, I'm going to Clark. And so I was like, what you? So I wanted to go to Clark, Bethune, or Xavier. And so my mom said you could visit one college. It was a Mardi Gras. And so I went to visit New Orleans, Xavier University, Louisiana. The first time I seen just a bunch of black people all in one place that were. And so I was like, man, this is where I'm going. And so 2004, I was in marketing, and that was like the best experience ever. We here, and then we had Hurricane Katrina, and then I was displaced for about 4 years, but then I was like, I gotta go back home.
So before you get into that, let's go back.
Mm-hmm. What'd you say?
So let's go back to when you felt like there was something that you needed, something else that you needed to do, and you said that you went to the local high school and you got into. You were saying that that there came to a point where you realize that, you know, there's something else that I want to do. There's something else that, and so you went to the local high school, you decided to get involved in sports. What was that journey like? What did that fill gap that you feel like you were missing, or joining the you know what was you feeling like you were trying to fill in those missing pieces?
Okay, so I think because you were breaking up pretty bad, but I think you asked me, what was it like making it the school I was at to what I needed for the local high school. Was she breaking up for you too? She was. Okay. Are you on mute?
Well, this is a show for the ages. But yeah, I was saying,
She
yeah,
was
I think that's the direction. That's the gist was going.
So so for me, I went 98%, white, and so being the only, black, only time I seen black people was in my neighborhood or at church, and so I was like, man, and I like it changed, like it just wasn't feeling right. I just needed something different, culturally. I just didn't relate so long, but I just needed to be around like diversity. And California is all about diversity. My school I was at, and then I was for me, like every young kid, it's athletics, and the school was known for football and track, and so I was fast. I was like, I'm gonna go for. I begged my mom, and you she was just like, all right, go ahead. It was when I was, hit my stride when I finally got to be around, all diverse, and that was kind of the best experience for me. So, and that helped me too because I know how to move around. You know what I mean? So I was around, different groups, and for my first school, and then after that, I was around more diverse people. So I'm able to navigate different rooms for those for it. But also, it was a bit much. Your parents for a better education. Those type of schools, and maybe they do, but it could be traumatic. And anybody look like you, you may have different comments said, and so it kind of make you feel some type of way. So it was important for me to leave and go to a school that was more.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that because we have a different perspective based off of where we grew up. Like for instance, my business partner, my primary business partner, he lives in New York. He grew up in the streets whenever 50 Cent and them were out there gaming back in the day. Like that was his norm. And my norm was in a predominantly white high school with, I think we maybe had like, I would say less than 10% of the population was African American. So I didn't have a whole lot of diverse when I was growing up through high school. And I remember when I went to college, University of Southern Miss is one of the most well-known schools when it comes or international studies program. So a lot of people from all over the world come to Southern Miss to study English, learn how to speak English. So I started meeting people from all over the world that were just completely different from me, completely different backgrounds. So it kind of helped me become more well-rounded. But when it comes to what I was at core, that was the lullaby of what my upbringing was. And one of the things I really push in a lot of my coaching is when you get to a certain stage in life, you decide what it is. You decide who you want around you, what you're going to engulf yourself in. And the longer you are in that space, that's what's going to eventually define who you are. So, would you say, or what would you say typically sports brings out confidence, especially we're somewhat on the good side. So how would you say getting involved in athletics kind of brushed off on other areas of your life when you're growing?
Uh, I don't know, not much. I mean, I was always like for me, even today, like I could be, I'm a mixture of like, if you see me, you think I'm out and about, but I'm actually kind of quiet. So if I first enter a room, I mean quiet. So we play sports and you get to know me. I'm outgoing and doing whatever. So I'm waiting just to meet, more people who to kind of do the same thing as you. I wouldn't say it or didn't make more friends. I was pretty social as far as um, it's because I'll talk to anybody, and so it was just a way for that me to talk to different people and learn about different people, and just learn about different cultures. So
Yeah,
now I have, and it's because of how I was brought up.
gotcha.
Wow.
That makes sense.
So when you were talking about, I know earlier, being raised, by your mother and so forth, um, just growing up, like going through college and the whole getting into the relationships and getting married, all those kind of things, like who was your biggest, like what was your who had a big impact on your life, where you were able, because I know you said that a lot of times you were very self-sufficient, so you were able to make certain decisions, but where did that come from? Like, was it something you seen? Like, how did you know, okay, this is who I know I need to be or who I want to be? How did you know where to go, being that you were so young and making those decisions? A lot of people, it takes time for them to mature and go through experiences. So what was it for you? Like, where was that inspiration and stuff come from?
Well, if you ask my mom, myself, like I always been like real self, and so um, she always told me like you the best, and to question everything. And so I always growing up, and would get mad at me because I questioned everything, whether it was just adults, whether it was anything, I would question everybody, be able to talk to anybody. And so I had positive male role models, and then also my dad. So I had people who would just, I would take like summer jobs, just spending time with them, seeing what they do, seeing how much, how hard work they do. So for me, my whole goal growing up is I said I want to make a lot of money doing the least amount of work. And took my whole life, I try to figure out how to do that. Like, because when I was young, like I just want to get mine. Like I don't really care about, anybody else. I just want to get my money and be cool. Older, that kind of switch, flip and do myself as far as you know pouring into people. So I would say just family and my mother just giving me the confidence, the self confidence thing I want to, and kind of make good decisions because I'm really self aware of different things. Like look at a situation for what it is, look at both sides, the success, and then boom, I try to take emotion out and try to just make sure that it's the best decision for me.
I don't know if we had spoke about it, or if maybe I wasn't online, but did you speak on, like, when did you know, like, I know who I am, like I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, when did you ever have, like, when was that moment for you?
You mean like my purpose now, like in life?
Yeah, like when you decide, yeah, like what you're doing right now, that journey of, I don't know if it was in between, did you know in college what you wanted to do? Like, where did you know, like really discover, like, you know what, I know this is what I want to do?
I started teaching. So I graduated and uh, I went to grad my MBA, and then I worked corporate for a year or two, and I hated it because I just desk or a cubicle person. Like I can't do it. I'm gonna go crazy. And so my wife and I was like, man, I don't like kids like that. Why would I teach? Like, I'm good. And so she like saw me helping her nephew with homework, and she's like, "You got so much patience. You know how to break it down to the simplest form." And she was like, "You should be a teacher." So I said, "All right." So um, I started teaching my first in New York at Addicts Middle School. You probably know where that's at. And so, um, and that was the first time where it didn't feel like work. And I was looking at kids, and I was like, me being that same way. I taught sixth grade, and I saw like the questions and how they gravitate, like 26, 27. And I said, I hated school, did not like school whatsoever. I would cut school. I would barely just do my work. But I wish I had. And so when I started doing that and I started seeing them, it was we describe or educators can tell you like that feeling of giving back and pouring into kids. And that's when I figured to give back and, just elevate it from there.
Well, what I want to kind of shift into is how to invest in yourself, right? Where did this come from? What are you currently? Because as I alluded to earlier, there's not enough of us in our community that really about investing at all, whether it be financially investing, whether it be personal development, whatever. We don't really think about investing as let me go get it and let me just live. Let me go get it. Let me just live. But we're anything to really continue to build from within. So, where did this whole invest in yourself come from, and where are you currently in that process?
All right. So investing in yourself came. So my father, he has his biggest company is in New York. It's called Exposure Foundation, and it deals with after school programming. They won like 5 Emmy awards, and so like they deal with animation, film, technical literacy, music production, anything you probably think of. They're involved. 2014, I moved out. 2015, I moved out there, and I worked for him for about. So him working for him kind of gave me an insane work ethic because his thing is where if I could do the amazing today, tomorrow he gonna be like that was yesterday. Like what you gonna do for me today? He had a program called Wall Street Warriors where it was financial literacy. So it was like the pilot program. I helped uh, produce it and bring it to life. And then I was like, I like what you did, but I want to do my own thing, my own version of it. And so me being in school, so I was teaching. I came back and I taught 8th grade. I saw that the math curriculum like in school. It's like it's cool. You know what I mean? Teach you the basics. When you talk to adults, they were like, they ain't teach us this, they ain't teach us that. And so instead of complaining about, create a solution. And so I started a program called, it was Wall Street Warriors at the time. Expand what my pops had did. And, we learned about stocks and then we opened them. We helped them put money into the account. And so my principal was supportive of it. And so I wrote a grant that summer. And then State Farm gave me $45,000 and build it out in the school. And so I named the program, the program Project Investing. From there, the goal was for my students I would teach them, financial stock market. We teach them business, and then we would put on a community workshop. Students will actually community how to invest. The 7th and 8th graders doing that. So I did it 2 years in a row, and they would open bank accounts. They would get paid. Basically earn while you learn. They taught the students. I mean, they taught the adults, and so it started to. And back then, YouTube wasn't as like teachers didn't promote themselves as much, but I was promoting the scene, and so I was like, let me put out everything. And so I started promoting, and then from there, I started winning like teacher awards. So in 2018 to when I stopped in 2022, I won local, national, state, teaching awards for my my style of teaching. And so at that point, the program started getting bigger and bigger, and other schools wanted it, and I would have to expand eventually. But I just was, I guess, nervous to step out. I love teaching, and so I knew I wouldn't be in the classroom as much. But in of 2022, I resigned from my district. I had schools in DC, schools, 4 schools in Los Angeles, over the country. And so I was like, man, like, all I had to do was step there. And so since then, even before then, I would always put on community work, just teaching the community and our people how to invest, how to, do anything with financial literacy to do so. And so, people see me, they kind of put that together, like, and my goal is to teach the youth how to invest, mainly the youth, but I do adults and the youth because they're the ones who are going to be able to change, our generations and create generations. We can have worse circumstances, but really it's just the mindset. And so mindset early and give them the knowledge, at least expose them to it so that at least recall that, or they can decide to make the right decisions now. And so right now across the country, it's in multiple states and multiple schools. And so, we're steadily growing. That's where we're at right now.
Man, and I hope everybody listens to this because a lot get it twisted. A lot of people think you just go for the thing and want to be successful. You focus on the thing, but no, you got to focus on you first. When you get the thing set right, everything else click. Everything else becomes more simplistic because you develop your mind to be able to grasp more complex things. For so many people, just like Dr. Hobson mentioned at the beginning, a lot of people, we see the end result. That whoop he's pushing, that nice crib he's in, and he's always on these vacations. That's one. So they see what you're doing and they say, I'm going to do that. That's the profession I'm going to go in. That's the career I'm going to choose. But they don't understand that you literally have sometimes become a brand new person to be able to attract those things because the environments that you come from typically aren't in alignment with what it is that you want. Especially a lot of the Black communities, we don't typically come from these prosperous and abundant environments to where we see around us that which we truly aspire to become. We see what we want to settle for, but the things that we see on TV, the things that we read in books, whenever we do pick one up to read, their dreams are far off things, but we don't realize that they could actually be ours, but only after we did so. So it seems like the upbringing that really developed you to understand the necessity of growing your mindset. So what are some of the things that you do? I know you mentioned community events. Like some of the things you do to pour into that next generation, make sure that they don't, how do you say, the hearts come before care. Like make sure that they don't try and jump the bullet. They don't try to do something before they're mentally ready to really get into that space. What are some of those things that you really focus on with you?
I just talk to them. I give them the real, but I break it down into like a simple thing where they can have. First of all, education when you teaching should be fun. So any lesson that I do is gonna be fun, interactive, because nobody listening to somebody just talk, right? So first of all, you gotta grab their attention. I look young, so attention for the most part, and they'll we'll turn up. But for me, I just and see like you see what your parents say. Is that cool with you? You can even teach them. And so teaching about budgeting, teaching about their favorite thing is investing. Investing in stocks is the most favorite lesson because I teach them you can make money by not. That's the cheap code. I teach you how to make some money by doing physically no work, and teach them that and see how they can see how it grows. And it's like a video game to them because they actually can buy these at a young age and they are able to connect that concept, even as middle school. Like we don't teach them that young because either we don't know or because we think that they're too young to grasp. Budgeting, credit, entrepreneurship. A lot of these, they have a lot of great ideas and ambition, and so it's up to us to kind of introduce them. Okay, you want this video of these young people that look just like you who got successful businesses, some of them thousands, some millionaires like you, and you can start right now. And so kind of give them that hope and become NBA. It's a 1% chance for you to do that, right? And even if you do, all right, they said it was like over 60% go broke in 5 years. In the NFL, is 80% go broke in 3 years. So it doesn't matter how much money you make; is what you do with it. To kind of explain that and show them in a way that they can understand. They're able to kind of grasp the concept with communities and our people who come from not the greatest backgrounds. Exposing, their mindset of their family and their generation to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a few things you mentioned, a few things that you mentioned was like not really getting it from our parents, only getting a certain amount from our parents. Like it's so often that we demonize where we come from and who we come from when it comes to where we are in life. But we got to realize that they could only give us what was given to them. So it's up to us, especially in today's technology world. Like we have so much access, it's so much. So we can really, like, we can prepare ourselves to give to the future generation and still educate like the older generations because we have so much more access.
Right.
And it's one of the things, especially, I mean, we being in the social work field, man, I'm telling you, what is one of my biggest pet peeves is when people get out here and all they want to do is protest and say, we're not where we can be because of you. We're not having access to such and such because of you. Nah, it's because of you. Like, you can go get it, but you're sitting back making excuses, and excuses and results don't mix. So instead of going out and protesting, I think what's your name, Dick Gregory. I think he said it best. He was speaking with, I think it was Killer Mike said it was him and Ti talking with Dick Gregory, and pardon my French, he was like, "What the y'all
Man.
go out there protest for? We've been
It was
protesting for
spitting
50,
game
60
without
years.
even knowing.
It ain't bitch. Like you got to do something different. And when you have
Yeah.
access to the intellect necessary to understand this capitalistic world that we're in, and you do so ethically, that's when we can change the situation. But if you sit back asking for the man to change the situation for you, you're gonna be sitting in the same seat for decades to come.
And not only that, Brian, that kind of go piggyback off of both of you is that, we don't have the patience, and we don't want to the process we don't want to deal with either. It's like, how long is this going to take? I don't know, but you have to wait. You're not going to, just because you invest right off the top, or you go into something, doesn't mean you're going to win that first round. It may take a couple of L's. We grow from our pain, from our failures, from our, that's how we learn, right? You're like, okay, I know not to do that again. But that's the part that we want to skip. And so we think that the minute something doesn't work, that it's not working. Oh, this doesn't work. Well, you've only tried it once. So I think that a lot of times our community, even like as Brian was saying earlier about, going out there and protesting. But the problem with that is we're not consistent enough. You can't protest on Monday and then Tuesday business as usual. People are like, you just said yesterday, so we have to learn to be more consistent and be okay with or patient with the process, because it's not going to be right now. It's not. And I know that because I have a sports background, I had to learn that as an adult. When I went to my therapist once, when my brother passed, she was like, "You think about life, what do you think about?" I'm like, winning. She's like, "Okay, but what what are you trying to win? I'm like, everything. And so to me it makes perfect sense, because all I know is that you put the work in, this is the results that you get. But sometimes in life you can continue to put work in, and you may have to continue to put that work in, that's making those sacrifices, but you'll eventually get to that place in winning. Maybe not through that journey, but maybe you might find something or discover something about yourself along that way. You realize, well, maybe I didn't want to do athletics, maybe I wanted to do academics and athletics. Or you can learn a lot about yourself through that journey. And I think that that's the part that people are like, all right, well, Shaughn, how we get there without
Right,
losing money?
right.
You're like, bro, you're gonna lose money.
Emulate the end result, right? And so we can't always have that. And so for me, I tell people, systematic about what I do. I have for everything that I do, notes for everything I do. So if I have a goal, whatever it is, financial, spending quality time, whatever it is I'm doing, I have a goal, and then I have the steps. I do that goal, and I have it every single day. Like what I'm gonna do today, what I'm gonna do tomorrow, what I'm gonna do next day, and every steadily follow that plan, because it's not gonna happen overnight, and then you're gonna achieve those goals. Again, your goal maybe be to mentally better. Your goal may be to have finances better. Your goal may be to whatever your goal. You got to set those steps in order to achieve that goal. So if our goal as a people is to get better schools or whatever it may be, what's the goal? What's each and every day? And so until we get to the point where we can have patience, and in order to achieve our goal, we just gonna keep running in circles. Is you as a person should focus on whatever their goals are, write the steps in order to do it, and go attack rate and new goals, new goals, new goals. And that's how everybody will be great. Whatever your skill is, that's what you should be doing and pouring back into your community. Not to do things for us. But if you good at sports, if you good at reading, you good. There's no reason that we shouldn't go. If I'm good at cutting hair, there's no reason that I shouldn't go into the black community and teach those kids how to do doing. We all have time. It doesn't spend time doing. And if everybody uses their talents or gifts to help, then we good, self-sufficient. But when we keep putting it on everybody else or looking for using our own gifts, then
Mm,
we're gonna keep talking the same thing over and over.
right.
You can do it themselves. They're gonna give you an excuse why they can't, right? And that's why we're gonna keep staying
And
apart.
if you chase the purpose and not the money, and I always teach people, that's part of my brand, is winning with why. Is once you understand why you're supposed to be doing what you're doing, and you understand your purpose, the money will come. But as long as you're
Right.
trying to chase the dollar, you're gonna always miss that step that you needed to take in order close to be closer to your purpose. And so I always I question sometimes, and I think even in our community, where we're just like, well, just pray about it. Well, you can pray about it, but when you're in that prayer, you need to ask for guidance and say, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to be learning right now in this situation? Why did I get fired?
Right.
Why did I have to make this detour? Why did it, instead of dwelling so much on what happened, we figure out, why did it happen? What can I gain from this experience? What can I do better next time to make sure that, and even if you do something different, it may be another challenge that you may be encountered. But if you truly believe in what you're selling and who you are, then you understand that there's a process. And nobody said the process is going to be easy. Nobody said that, oh, you're not supposed to feel mad or disappointed and sad. But you just can't sit in those places for a long time. And I think that life has its shifts, and something you were talking about earlier, but about your gift is your gift. What may work for you may not work for me, but I may be able to take those steps that you used and those approaches that you made and apply it to what I'm trying to do and make it on my side. I may not have to do the things that you're doing. So I think people really need to sit back and spend more time with themselves and say, what is it that you really do? What is driving you? What is that thing at night when you get up or in the middle of the night, all you're thinking about is that? What is that one thing? And whatever that one thing is that is hindering you from getting that rest. When people say you need to go to sleep, but you can't sleep because you know that what's inside of you is the world needs. You have to make sure you keep that same why when things don't work out in your favor. So I appreciate you for your obedience in that space.
Everybody's not going to find their purpose. Like, one reason why is we not taught about, like, we're taught to, like, for me, to kind of find what they love and figure out who they are earlier, right? That's kind of the goal. Older, you have all these responsibilities, and then you kind of forget about what kind of drive. You kind of lose that hunger. Some people just kind of cool with just, yeah. Some people, like you said, who can't sleep because they have that drive. Our goal, we hope so, but that means you gotta do some soul searching. You want to do the soul search. Don't want to do the inner work. You know what I mean? So that everybody finds their purpose in that, like that. Because if you don't, it kind of sucks because you went through life to do what you truly wanted to do. So talking about it and having people pray and figure out those actions, that's definitely helpful and needed in our community.
Well, man, I tell you what, I know we've had some technical difficulties today, and I have to know I say this so often because we have so many stellar guests. Like, we got to do an encore and like dive a little bit deeper in some of the things you do, because we touch the surface on these shows and we mention the importance of certain topics, but we don't often enough get. And we're just gonna have to schedule a 2 hour episode or something one of these days, and like really allow like some training to take place, because it's not often enough that we can sit down and have a dialogue about such nourishing topics. And when we get that opportunity, I want us to be able to really just maximize it. Session, record it. We definitely will be able to pull certain snippets and such. And I want to be able to use those, educate people, because there ain't enough of us out here this type of information. And as long as the ones standing on the street corners, the athletes that one hit wonders and then bust and then back out there on the street, as long as those people exist, not that anything is wrong with being an athlete, being an entertainer, whatever, but if that's the only example that our youth have, then they're going to continue to go through that same cycle. They're going to continue to be that 0.1% that actually make it, and then whenever they do, they dedicate their whole life to that, nothing else. Then they get cut and not know where to go from there. Like, enough examples like us to understand, okay, where do I actually go from here? How can I use, okay, I got X number of hundreds of thousands of dollars these few years that I did get to play. What can I actually do with this? Make sure it's stretched out throughout the rest of my life. People like yourself are critical in being able to give that information. I just want to thank you for coming and sharing with us, man. And we're definitely going to be
Yes.
in contact on how we can continue to collaborate. And Houston, from here, it's about a 6.5 hour drive or so. Drive down New Orleans, hop on the plane, but
About
like,
6 minutes for me.
we got to make some things happen, because like our connection, and we're seeing more. We're seeing like Wall Street Trapper, EYL. Like, there's a lot of us that are actually starting to come together, but we need more. We gotta get
Yeah.
into these pockets where there's not enough of us to be able to spread out.
Yep.
Real quick, I always tell people what is like in so my money, I'm lose my money, do this. But a lot of people like keep saying. So if I ask them, what is the average, what would you say?
I said one more time. You cut it out a little bit.
What is major, or what is the interest rate that major banks?
Oh, the interest rate, major banks.
It's going in and out, so I couldn't hear the
The
whole
interest rate.
question. All I heard
What's the
was what
interest
is.
rate at major banks?
Say it again.
Interest rate at a major bank.
The interest rate that a major bank pays you.
I just hear instant. I
The
just hear.
interest
I
rate at a
can't.
major bank. I'm thinking what like point how many percent? Point
Point
five at
what?
the 0.5 at the highest.
All right. So the average pays you 0.0 means for every $100 they give me 1 penny.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
know. Yeah.
so that means that we keep our money, we're going to end up losing money, right? So the real thing is we can afford, and so my goal is, of course, teach you all about financial literacy, but also to invest in, like, especially the companies that you buying. And so I got a course that say, like, everybody got a lot of course. Whoever you learn from, cool. But I even got a course that said learn the stock market in 60 minutes. In 60 minutes, this is what kids I teach again, middle school, elementary, high school. So well, I don't talk over your head. How to do that. So I have an online course. It got quizzes, got everything. My Instagram, Mr. Thomas Invest. You'll be able to see it in the link. But I'm how to invest, because
So
at the end of the day,
where can we find you? Um,
Mr.
Brian,
Thomas
you ready?
Invest.
All right, I'm gonna pop it onto a graphic. You said Mr. Thomas, and that's invest with an S at the end.
ST. So Mr.
All right.
Thomas Invest.
We've truly enjoyed having you on, and like Brian said, we definitely got to reconnect again. But um, it is so important that we have the Black podcast, or why we continue to share these stories on the Black podcast, because our community needs to know. We don't we say we're in the same place and never knew. It's like we have to make sure that we connect and tell each other stories and find out what gifts and talents do I have, what gifts and talents does this person have, how can we, we got to learn how to work together at some point. And I just truly appreciate your vulnerability. I truly appreciate just those little nuggets you kept giving it to us. Sometimes it seems small, but when you can sit back and be like, man, I remember that guy saying that. That's what it's all about. And so we know that people that are watching are continue to support you, and may, we're no one can ever stop growing in that space, right? You can never, outgrow trying to learn how to make more money or save money, or, investing in yourself. That never gets old. So it doesn't matter if you're just now starting at 50 or you're starting at 15, it doesn't matter. And so we have to make sure that we continue to throw those little, knowledge out there, because that's what it's about. Make sure whatever you gain, that you pay it forward. And we just really appreciate you doing that for us, because our community definitely needs you, and it needs what you have.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're
So
gonna
we're going to
be
put you in the
connecting.
I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we're definitely gonna be connecting across social media, and um, we'll come back to you after we put you backstage and talk a little bit more details, because I like what's coming out your mouth. Anyway, so yeah, man, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Hobson getting jealous because we got a little connection getting ready to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we definitely are going to be reaching out, and we have to do this more often. I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to our audience. We have to hear information from those doing great things, reach out to them, connect with them, and stop trying to run in silos, thinking, you know what, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to save the world. No, we can save the world. I'd rather have, what's the saying? I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own effort. So we definitely will be connecting. But yeah, Dr. Hobson, do your thing.
Right, Mr. Thomas will put you in the backstage, but again, everybody, please make sure you share this video. Support. Go to Mr. Thomas Invest, and just learn more and support and just see what he's doing and figure out what you need to do in your life and what adjustments you need to make. So, thank you again for spending time with us. We're going to put you in the backstage and then we'll close out.
Thank
you. All right, so hold tight for us.
I know that, talking about financial literacy makes your hair grow, but I'm just so excited. I mean, I just love that when you see him, you would never, he's not flashy, he's not this, he's not that, but the amount of knowledge that he has, I think a lot of time our youth miss those type of people because we're looking for who got this, who got that, or who looks like they have money, or who looks like they understand. And so we have to make sure we stay humble in that space and really meet our audience where they're at. And so I like that he's so approachable and he's able to meet people right where they're at. You don't have to be an expert in that space. And from the youngest of 5, 6 years old to however old that he educates. And I really appreciate him taking the time to do that.
Oh yeah. There's, like I said, there's not enough of us doing that type of work, and the fact that he is and was able to have him on definitely was an honor. I hope he hangs out backstage for us so we can knock out a few more details before we let him go. But I just want to thank everybody who did chime in, everybody that's watching the replay. Definitely share these videos out. Please them out, because there's that somebody out there. It may not be you. I'm still Mr. Dr. Hobson. It may not be you that need the message, but maybe someone you know needs to hear what was shared tonight, and it can completely change the trajectory of their life. So off that note, we are out of here. Definitely follow us on social media. Check out our website. We are hsba.com. Throw it up here for you real quick. We are hsba.com. It links you to pretty much everything that we have going on. But we've seen how life has been for us, for some of our siblings, some of our younger cousins and such, and we realize that there can be so much more, and we just want to give that more and partner up with others to help give that more. That's all we want. That's all we want to do.
That's
So,
all. We're not
okay,
asking.
no,
That's all.
yeah, that's it.
But thank you
Okay,
for supporting us. And yeah, it's simple. We just want to help. Can we help?
that's it.
But again, we got to do better. We got to make sure that we continue to be consistent and people, continue to support us. And you just never know where this journey may go. So again, thank you for tuning into the B.L.A.C. podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Dr. Sherelle Hobson, and my partner,
Brian
Mr.
Street.
Brian Street.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. See you the next time. Next week, same time, same place. Our last episode before Christmas. All right, y'all take care. We'll see you next.